Some people live in 4-bedroom houses, while others settle for 1-bedroom apartments. Some reside in mansions with swimming pools and tennis courts, and others find themselves bunking in their parents' basements. But then there are homes that defy our usual understanding of what a living space can be. These are the weirdest places where people actually live. Number 10. Rusinu Monastery. Living in a monastery requires great commitment and, apparently, a love of breathtaking views. These monks have given up everything to study and seek inner peace, so it only makes sense that they'd want to surround themselves with the beauty of the Mediterranean landscape. But the Rusinu Monastery takes that desire to new heights. Nestled in central Greece, this stunning sanctuary is perched 1,027 feet above sea level on a cliff, offering unmatched views of the serene countryside below. It's a spectacular sight, unless you're afraid of heights. For those with vertigo, simply looking up at it might make you feel faint. Built in 1545 by a group of monks seeking refuge from wars and turmoil, the monastery's high elevation provided security from potential invaders. Their strategy clearly worked, perhaps because no one wanted to endure the exhausting climb. The Rusinu Monastery stands as a reminder of an age-old lesson: if you want to escape the chaos of the world, build your home on a mountaintop. Like this video and smash the subscribe button, or this cockroach will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Number 9. Hanging Temple of Hengshan. For those of us who firmly believe in gravity, which really should be everyone, the idea of living in a house clinging to the side of a potentially unstable mountain might not sound so appealing. Whether it's the possibility of your home unexpectedly plunging onto the rocks below or the risk of a simple, unintentional misstep turning into an accidental base jump, it all feels rather precarious. Yet, people actually did live here. The Hanging Temple of Hengshan, located in Shaanxi Province, is said to be the creation of a monk named Liao Ran, who built it during the Northern Wei Dynasty, sometime between 386 and 534 AD. That kind of historical ambiguity only adds to the anxiety of stepping inside, doesn't it? The temple has 40 rooms, all interconnected by a labyrinthine network of passageways. If you don't commit the layout to memory, you might just find yourself taking an unplanned skydiving adventure. And if you're still not deterred, consider this: the temple is supported by poles drilled directly into the cliffside. But don't worry, they've supposedly been maintained regularly since 534 AD. Or so we hope. Honestly, we have no idea. Why not take a tour and let us know how it feels in the comments? Number 8. Sentinel de las Bodegas. At first glance, the charming village of Sentinel de las Bodegas looks like a scene straight out of a Hollywood adventure film. The picturesque Andalusian town features traditional Spanish buildings with massive rock formations looming above them, as if from some prehistoric fantasy. But this place is no movie set. It's a real village that's been inhabited for over 25,000 years. Located in the region of Andalusia, Sentinel de las Bodegas was built within a series of caves, transforming a dark, cavernous landscape into something uniquely beautiful. It's not just a visual wonder either. Some of the homes even have olive groves on their rooftops, blending beauty with practicality. Archaeological evidence shows that people have been living here since at least the 12th century, though some findings suggest the history dates back even further, over 2,500 years. Once known for its thriving wine industry, the village suffered a major blow in the 1860s when an insect infestation destroyed the vineyards. Even so, this ancient cave village continues to amaze, and I bet its underground springs must produce some interesting cave water. Number 7. Matmata, Tunisia. Many of us dream about living in a sun-soaked, tropical paradise, but those fantasies often leave out the less glamorous realities: scorching sunburns, sweaty clothes, and the complete exhaustion of a broken air conditioner. Fortunately, the people of Matmata, Tunisia, have a better solution. Welcome to a new kind of desert dream, one where you live underground. This desert settlement became famous for its innovative, climate-friendly homes, which, by the way, look like beautiful works of art carved out of the earth. Instead of building above ground, Tunisian architects dug 23-foot deep and 33-foot wide holes, carving artificial caves into the sandstone to create homes that remain cool despite the harsh desert heat. These underground houses are sturdy enough to have lasted for centuries. It's lovely as long as you don't dwell on the risk of cave-ins. When you're dealing with Tunisia's intense temperatures, having a rock-solid shelter is a real blessing. But if desert life doesn't sound appealing, maybe just buy a rock and live under that. Now it's time for the prime topic. When we first saw this photo, we were sure our eyes were deceiving us. The house in this image genuinely resembles the titular castle from Studio Ghibli's Howl's Moving Castle. But believe it or not, this is a real home, or at least that's what our sources claim. Allegedly located just offshore of a Japanese beach, it appears to be an ideal residence for an extreme introvert. From what we've heard, the family living there hasn't stepped outside in years. Could you imagine living somewhere so isolated? Or would the seclusion be too much for you? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the discussion going. Number 6. Casa do Penedo, Portugal. Despite what skeptics say, some of us know that you can't keep the modern Stone Age family down. They'll be yabba-dabba-doing forever. And now, I finally have proof. Behold, Fred Flintstone's house. The Casa do Penedo, or House of the Rock, in northern Portugal looks like it was plucked straight from the Flintstones. But this isn't an ancient relic. It was built in 1972, and yes, that's the 20th century. Constructing this stone marvel wasn't easy. Built from 4 massive boulders, it took 2 years to complete, a remarkable feat considering the challenge. But who would you even call to build a house like this? There's no electricity, and the living room couch is made from a single eucalyptus tree. Yet that only adds to its charm. The owners used the Casa do Penedo as a holiday retreat, a perfect escape from modern life. And honestly, when summer hits, who wouldn't dream of hiding away under a rock? Number 5. Ponte Vecchio. If you've ever been to Italy, you might already be wondering, isn't Ponte Vecchio a bridge? Indeed, it is. But believe it or not, people do live on it, and no, not in a homeless way, though perhaps some may have at times. Built originally in 966 AD, the current structure of Ponte Vecchio has seen its share of history, even if no one can pinpoint exactly when it was rebuilt or who the architect was. What we do know is that since the 13th century, vendors and shopkeepers have set up their businesses on the bridge, and small apartments were built for them to live nearby. The bridge has weathered centuries of floods, an incredible feat of endurance that few bridges can match. The phrase, "I have a bridge to sell you," is usually uttered with sarcasm, but in this case, it was once a genuine offer. Lucky for some, this wasn't a scam, and today people still live and work on one of the most picturesque bridges in the world. Just be careful if you ever consider buying a bridge, always check first. Learn from my mistakes, kids. Number 4. Santuario Madonna della Corona. Nature isn't always kind, which makes the survival of Santuario Madonna della Corona all the more remarkable. Built into the sheer cliffs of Mount Baldo in 1530, this breathtaking sanctuary has remained almost unchanged, miraculously protected from the unforgiving rock face around it. It's tempting fate just by existing there, yet fate has shown extraordinary restraint so far. Back in the 1500s, the sanctuary became a spiritual haven for hermit monks who sought solace and divine connection in the harsh, remote landscape. Many of them made their homes within or near the sanctuary, a true testament to their unwavering faith despite living life on the literal edge. Today, pilgrims and tourists alike make the challenging journey to admire the sanctuary's stunning beauty and awe-inspiring views. Just be prepared to climb a lot of steps to witness one of the most extraordinary places of worship in the world. Number 3. Villa Girasole. Could you live in a house that moves? Not in a dizzying Disneyland teacups way, but in a slow, sun-chasing rotation? If so, then Villa Girasole might be your dream home, although it's probably not for sale, so please hold those offers. Italian engineer Angelo Invernizzi had this bright idea back in 1929, designing a rotating house to follow the sun and bless the residents with its healthy light. Aptly named Villa Girasole, meaning sunflower, this L-shaped home rotates around a central tower that houses both a staircase and an elevator. Moving at a pace of 9 inches per minute along curved tracks, the villa continuously fills with natural sunlight. This innovative creation was way ahead of its time, acting as a precursor to today's sustainable architecture trends. It's quite enchanting when you think about constantly enjoying a different view, though the thought of gardening becomes a bit daunting. Imagine having to chase your house with a lawnmower. Number 2, Scola Tower, Italy. When you're under relentless enemy fire, having a near-indestructible shelter can be a lifesaver. Nowadays, most of us hide from the chaos of life in places like Taco Bell, but in the late 1700s, Italians found salvation in Scola Tower. This curious 42-foot-tall structure, standing guard in the Gulf of La Spezia, was built to withstand attacks and defend on behalf of the Republic of Genoa. It served its purpose well, at least for a while. Designed to shield soldiers from assaults, the tower eventually succumbed to Napoleon's ongoing battles with the British. By 1800, the fighting had driven out its defenders and left the structure in ruins. By 1915, officials even planned to demolish what was left, but a government expert intervened, saving it as a historic landmark. Scola Tower's grim and resilient walls seem uninhabitable today, yet it was once a home for soldiers who braved its harsh conditions. Soldiers are certainly tougher than the average Joe. Meanwhile, I'd prefer seeking shelter with a burrito at Taco Bell. Number 1, Mount Fanjing. You'll have to trust us on this one, because every photograph of Mount Fanjing looks like it's been digitally altered. This otherworldly Buddhist sanctuary, located in China's Guizhou province, is absolutely real. Rising 8,430 feet above sea level, the mountain appears to float among the clouds, as if painted into the landscape. Even the legendary Willie Nelson hasn't reached these heights, and he's been trying for decades. Why do people make the grueling 8,000-step trek to visit this extraordinary place, home to 2 sacred temples connected by a narrow bridge? Many Buddhists believe Mount Fanjing is a site of spiritual enlightenment, where one can achieve the same illumination as Maitreya Buddha. While it's a major tourist attraction today, it's hard to imagine anyone willingly living in such an isolated location. Yet centuries ago, devoted monks would sleep inside these lofty temples, undoubtedly too tired to descend in the same day. Tom Cruise might manage the climb, but he's practically superhuman anyway. Which of these weird houses would you most want to live in? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next adventure. Check out some of our other awesome videos popping up on the screen right now. See you next time.